When you was a young kid growing up, did you ever think you'd be this legendary in the game?
You don't think of it in terms of that. I grew up, my dad was a jock, my mom was a trainer. We started a lot of young horses at the farm for good people. I've got an older brother, 4 years older than me, Cash, and he dreamed big. I definitely believe, who I am has everything to do with my parents and who my brother is, and he always thought it was possible and drugged me along with him.
And your family members, right? They proud of you, man. Like, do they tell you?
Oh, yeah. My mom, she's watched more of my races than I've seen. She doesn't miss anything, and I know and understand why it's such a sense of pride, because we've done this together our whole lives. For me to grow up in my parents' barn, working for them, it just racing. You collectively are pulling in one direction so hard and want it so much that when you do have success, the celebration together is as good as it gets. And I got to be a part of that as a kid in their barn, and now they're a part of that in our barn now. It's simply an extension of what we've always done. And the opportunity to be around, the greatest racehorses in the world, that's the dream. I mean, that's what you think about great races that you witnessed, when you're in your youth and, a kid, and now to think that you're fortunate enough to participate on that level and to have access to the greatest horses in the game. That's an unbelievable blessing.
What kind of mentor was mom versus dad?
My father's the greatest horseman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And when you say horseman, just understanding what they're thinking, why they're thinking it, and the way they go about things. And then mom and her attention to detail and tirelessness, just everything, just always. Being the youngest of that family was, if nothing else, exhausting. I mean, because it's always, it's horses 100% of the time.
And who was a mentor for you in this life when you really got serious about this, besides your parents?
I've maintained contact with them that kind of drowns out any outside influence, but mainly criticism. The honesty that is, and it continues with my kids, and now that they're adults and intelligent horsemen themselves, critique or criticism that comes from family, where it's coming from, and the willingness to listen to people that love you and want the best for you is completely different than anybody else.
How important is the men and women that wake up every day and do this job?
I don't think that you could even possibly quantitate that, but you going through any difficulty in any way, shape, or form, or disappointment, and when you drive through the gate and you acknowledge how many people are already there, putting their work in, laying it out there, you realize that how fortunate you are to be a part of a community that has that much effort in them.
And who's the best jockey you ever seen ride a horse from the old timers?
Cash Asmussen.
Wow. Favorite moment all time in this life so far?
Just to be able to celebrate with family and the opportunity that, how fortunate you are to be in a moment that allows you to feel that good.
And what's the feeling like when one of your big horses win the big race? Like, could you describe that feeling?
Pride. Yeah, it's proud parent. It's a proud parent moment.
Yeah.
Your admiration for them and your respect for them is just like your kids. When they achieve what you felt they were capable of. It's pride.